Hi, see you again, and in this video I'd like to share about the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act 2024 EECA 2024. I just wondering why some companies or energy consumer who will be affected by the act look at the requirements set under the act basically purely on additional costs that were incurred to them. Because if you look back, if you understand exactly the act requirements, what exactly requirement for the energy consumer to comply from section 5 until 9, basically it's all about for an organization to have a proper way of managing their energy resource. That's all. I don't see it is something that totally strange or totally something new, because what the act requires basically just to have somebody who is dedicated or responsible to look into how do you use your energy resources, which is the registered energy manager. Just like the reason why you have your safety officer, ESH executive, or even quality executive or quality manager. The same thing. It's about having someone dedicated on specific jobs, which is the energy management. And if you are an energy intensive so-called user, or you are from the energy intensive industry, this is something good. Because if somebody is dedicated with the right knowledge and skills and competency to manage your energy well, subsequently you will save energy costs. As simple as that. And then what the act requires you to do is basically to have a proper system to manage your energy. Means that energy management should be done as ongoing basis or as practices. It's all about the way when I look at the requirements of the guidelines on the energy management system, it is basically just a business best practice. Just a business best practices, okay, based on the standard. That's all. It's no requirement for certification. Just there is same way why you get your quality being managed systematically, your environment being managed systematically, and also your safety and health being managed systematically. The same thing. The law is just about for you to have so-called a good or best practices in the energy management. And the rest next basically just conducting the energy audit, just basically to check your energy performance and come up with some kind of idea or recommendation on how you can save your energy. That's all, and all that have to be reported every single year. That's all. I don't see it's a big burden, because I came across one of my clients, a few of my clients actually, they have a dedicated person, energy manager, and they have enjoyed so much cost saving. Of course, along the way, they also meet other requirements as well. They meet their net zero target requirements, they meet their ESG so-called performance improvement and all that. And of course, they enjoy some monetary benefit as well. I understand that some company, to them, energy cost is not that big. I came across a client, they bill a few millions a month, but that a few millions a month equivalent to less than 5% of the total cost of the month of the operations. Understood? Okay, that's why. But the law, the act, just requires you as an organization, as a large energy users or large energy consumers, to manage your energy systematically. It's all about to make the best practice become mandatory. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. So I don't understand why some companies are so reluctant, okay, and just wanted to see from the legal requirement alone, just about legal compliance, and all incurred me some cost. That's all. Because I think the benefits for you to do it much more than the government benefits somehow. So I just okay, because I know some of these companies, they just couldn't go out from their so-called comfort zone of how they use the energy. Understood? Energy often being seen as something so-called cost that nothing much they can do about it. They just need only to pay their bill every month. But it's not right. Energy resources, if you manage it properly, systematically, and it can give your benefits beyond just energy cost saving. It's all good for the business. For example, it can help you to increase, let's say you are involved in the ESG reportings, carbon reportings and all that. Energy management can help you to get the number, get how much carbon you can reduce, okay? How much they can help you to mitigate the climate change impact under the ESG. So the way I look at it as the Act, EECA 2024, is all about making so-called the best business practices as a requirement, as a legal requirement, that's all. Which the benefit will go back to the energy consumers who are affected by the Act. Because, for example, if you look at the guideline on energy management system, the guidelines basically, the main reference was ISO 50001. So ISO 50001 is the global standard for energy management system. When I studied the guidelines, basically, if you follow exactly the guidelines, okay, and you are basically ready to get certified anytime by ISO 50001. As simple as that. So, but somehow, naturally, the Act requires you to basically to adopt best business practices when it comes to energy. That's all. Therefore, we have to look at this Act objectively, not purely on additional cost. Because I came across some of my clients, their cost saving per year, okay, beyond millions, cross millions ringgit per year. But how much do they pay for the energy manager salary? I would say too little. Very little compared to how much they save financially every year. Because you have dedicated person to make sure you are efficient, you are your energy performance keep improving, and as a result of that, naturally, okay, you will save your energy costs. So look at this Act as a requirement to adopt best practices for business in energy management. That's all. That's how you're supposed to look at it, and it can help you to improve your energy performance. The result from there, it can help you to, of course, reduce your energy costs, okay, and then also improve your ESG performance, or improve your sustainability performance, or it can help you to achieve your carbon neutral targets or net zero target by whatever year, generally by 2050, because it can reduce your carbon footprint. It can reduce your greenhouse gases emission. Okay, at least it will cover scope 1 and scope 2 emissions. So we should look at this EECA as just like documents as a business practices. That's all. As simple as that. Okay, so don't look at it as just purely on cost. No, even if there's some cost incurred, but it's worth it. It's I would say easily can be paid back from the benefits, either non-energy savings, saving from the energy cost, and also business cost saving from non-energy cost resulted from the energy saving project or best practices in energy management. Okay, so that's what I'd like to share. So the EECA basically, the requirement basically is a best practices in business for energy management. Thank you very much.